with us this evening, and hopefully there won't be any more storms. We certainly sympathize with those people who were affected by the storms that passed through our county yesterday. We know that these kinds of storms come this time of year, and they can have a big impact. And certainly getting a lot of rain last night caused us to, not only that, but some fallen trees here and there caused us to have the 2-hour delay today. Obviously, school will be on a regular schedule tomorrow. But anyway,
No one's clapping?
fall of the year is here, and it's still hot, and it's still very, very humid outside. I wanted to mention that Dottie Darcy is not with us tonight. She is, I think someone said she was probably landing in Sydney, Australia right about this time. She has a niece that's getting married, and so she's going to be over there for a period of time. So we certainly understand her being away at this particular time. I'd like to call on Joe Sims to do the invocation for the board.
If you will, in just a minute, we're going to have a moment of silence and prayer and reflection. But think about two words, reflection and peace. We all need to reflect on the things going on throughout our country and reflect on how we can bring peace during this time in our country. Reflect on things going on in our communities and counties, and reflect on how we as individuals can help bring peace. Reflect on those who went through the path of the storm last night. There was 93 homes damaged, and cars and other things. And help reflect on how we can bring peace and help through the troubles that they're going through. Reflect on our fire departments, police, EMTs, and military who put their lives on the line daily. And reflect on how we can help bring peace to their lives. And then reflect on there was a fireman last night that lost his life over in Burke County. Reflect on how we can bring peace to his family and friends or fellow firemen and emergency personnel as they're going through these struggles. If you will, each one now, please take time to join me in time of reflection or prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. At this time, we would like to call upon two students to come forward and do the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Caitlin Wynn and Sean Suttle. They are 8th graders on the student council at Hudson Middle School. Caitlin is the daughter of Richard and Tina Wynn, and Sean is the son of Sherry Mounts. So as they come forward, if you would please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Caitlin, for being here. We truly appreciate it. Next is the approval of the agenda. The board has had an opportunity to look over that and to review.
Mr. Chairman, we'd like to amend the agenda to delete item 13, closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A3, litigation.
Do I
Mr.
hear?
Chairman, I make the motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next, we have approval of the minutes. And there is a correction to our regular session minutes for August the 14th, 2017. So do I hear a motion that we approve the corrected August 14th minutes?
Mr. Chairman, makes the motion we approve the corrected agenda
Second?
minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. On September the 11th, we had our regular session here in the boardroom, and also on that night, we had a closed session, and minutes have been made available to the board. Do I hear a motion that we approve the amendments, the minutes of the September 11th regular meeting as well as the minutes of our closed session?
Chairman Pennell, I make the recommendation that we approve the minutes from the September 11th regular session as well as the closed session.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comment on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes there. We also had a special session on September 26th, 2017. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of that meeting?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the September 26th special session meeting minutes.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. As of 4:30 this afternoon, we have received no public comments, so we're going to go ahead and proceed on with the agenda, and that includes some announcements at this point. We are going to have a board walkthrough. The board will meet here at about 8 o'clock on October the 30th, and we're going to be going through some of the schools in our county. And at the conclusion, we will also have a very brief board meeting on that day. So that will take place on October the 30th. On November the 6th, we will have our regular board meeting. Actually, that is a week earlier than usual because of the North Carolina School Boards Association State Conference. And on November the 10th, Veterans Day will be observed on November the 10th. There will be no school for students, faculty, or any staff. And our fall and Thanksgiving holidays will begin on November 22nd and through the 24th. Another announcement to the board here is that on October the 18th, Wednesday, October the 18th, there'll be a joint meeting with the county commissioners and the Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute trustees, and that will be at noon, and it'll be across the street at the Civic Center. So those are the announcements at this time. We're going to move on now with the honors and recognition part of our program. The board's going to move down here to congratulate those who are being honored, and Mrs. Libby Brown, Community Relations Director, will be leading us in this part of the meeting.
When we do the art, so if the principal of the school will come up first and help your students come up and arrange them so we can have a group picture, and the art teacher as well. So.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, board members, and Dr. Stone. This is our first opportunity this school year to recognize some outstanding student artwork in 3 of our schools in the district. So without further ado, we're going to get right into introducing our budding artists here in the Caldwell County Schools. So parents, thank you for being here this evening. And just remember that all through the month of October, you can come back and bring more family members and get more pictures. So we welcome you back. We're going to start with Davenport A-Plus School, and Dabney Smith is the art teacher, and Kelly Smith is the principal. And I think your assistant principal.
So if you kind of help me make sure you're.
Oh, no, Kelly is here. Yes, so please join us. And Madison Corpening is a 4th grader. So, Madison, thank you for being here.
And we have the art in both places. Madison was the queen that day, right?
Yes. We also have a kindergartner from Davenport A-Plus School, Hector Estrada Guzman. Micah Marsh, 1st grader Davenport A-plus School. So there is Mr. Marsh. And we have Braden McKay. Braden is in the 2nd grade at Davenport A-plus School. We like your bow tie. Very well dressed. And Trinity White. Trinity is a 5th grader at Davenport A-plus School. So Trinity, please join us. So we have 3 schools, so we'll get a group picture of this group here, the Davenport A-plus group. And let's try to scoot our kids to be the focal point right there in the center.
Kelly,
And
y'all
parents,
kind of bring around and after you get one in and tell them. Turn your certificates this way so parents can see it, but hold it down about your stomach.
Ready on 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna make my mark. 1, 2, 3.
Now, stay in place until all the cameras stop. Anyone else? All right. Congratulations.
now we're going to move to Laura Creek Elementary School, and Leanne Fry is principal, and Stephanie Woody Grishel is the art teacher. Okay, so we have our intern with us from Laura Creek Elementary School. We're going to start with Django Andrews, and Django is a 3rd grader at Laura Creek Elementary. Michaela Hope. Michaela is a 2nd grader. Right here in the front. Lawson Jenkins. Lawson is a 4th grader at Laura Creek Elementary. Quinn Oiker. Quinn is a 2nd grader. I know I saw him earlier. And Gabriella, or Gabby Romero. So Gabby is here with us. She is a 3rd grader at Laura Creek Elementary School. And these are elementary students featured this month in our Education Center Art Gallery. So parents, please put a photo.
All right, slide over a little bit. Put your certificate, stomach level, smile.
Ready on 3. 2, 1, 2, 3.
Hold on. Still got a circle. Great job.
Now we're going to turn our attention to 6th through 8th grade at William Lenore Middle School, and Lisa Vaughn is the principal, and Leah Rhodes is the art teacher. So let's start with Damaris Alvarenga, 8th grade. Damaris here? Lillian De Leon, and Lillian is an 8th grader also at William Lenore Middle School. You can tell we've gotten to the middle school level. John Gibson. John Gibson is a 7th grader at William Lenore Middle School. Emily Husong, 8th grader at William Lenore Middle School. And this one gets the star and the prize for the day. Walker Terry, 7th grade, William Lenore Middle School. He is So we'll get a photo of Walker with the Board of Education and Dr.
Walker, we're glad you showed up.
So it's been our privilege much to honor our students and our art teachers and our principals. And now we're going to recognize some of our employees here in the Caldwell County Schools because they also do outstanding job. We're going to start with Amanda Marley. Amanda is at Hudson Elementary School. She has had 12 years of service at Hudson Elementary School, and she has been selected as the North Carolina Council of Teachers of Mathematics Outstanding Elementary Mathematics Award. Yes, that's a very long title. Adam Windmiller is her principal, and I think Adam is here this evening. Would you like to join her? Yes, please.
Now, if you have someone you want to introduce, put them on the spot too.
Is your
I'll let him introduce you. Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations. We also have a teacher from Hudson Middle School, and Julia Knight is the principal. Rachel Pearson. Rachel Pearson has been selected as the Caldwell County Exceptional Children's Teacher of Excellence for 2017. So congratulations to Rachel Pearson. Yes, congratulations. And now this is a fun treat because the news topic has an annual insert, and many of you may have seen that just recently. And it's the news topic reader voted. So their readership votes on several different categories. So we pulled out those education categories, and it's the best of the best. So we're going to talk about the best teachers selected by the news topic readers. And congratulations to 3 in the Caldwell County Schools, starting with Tamika Lipford. Tamika is from High Brighton High School. So is Tamika here this evening? Okay. Shannon Green, elementary. She's in elementary level, Gamewell Elementary School. See these elementary people come to look at that. And I see her principal, Andy Berry, is here, so thank you for joining us. Andy, would you like to join us at the front here for Shannon Green?
Thank you, Teresa, I appreciate it.
And we also have another elementary teacher, Jennifer Phillips, from Hudson Elementary School. Is Jennifer here this evening? So congratulations to these 3 awesome teachers who have been selected the best of the best. And then the principals. So principals, you get to be in the spotlight and not just come up and accompany somebody for a few minutes. So 3 principals were selected as the best of the best by the news topic readership. So as I call your name, please come forward. Carol Sturgis, Valmead Elementary School. Craig Styron, Collinsville School. And Jenny McNulty, Kings Creek School. So congratulations. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here again this evening, parents. Rachel Pearson, did I put you at a different school tonight? Yes. And your principal up here should have said something. So you're Gamewell Elementary School, so thank you, Andy, for, that's right. So thank you.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Now would be an appropriate time if the young people need to go for homework, or if you haven't had dinner yet. But we truly do appreciate your being here. You're welcome to stay.
But if
Thank
you're
you.
from West Caldwell and you're on assignment, you have got to stay.
You must have a lot of yard
Is it a different class? We had a group class.
The whole class will.
Okay.
I wonder if we had to build a room for that size class.
High schools, it doesn't matter. Good to see you. Cute little fella. Those all three yours?
Yeah, they're all crazy. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad you're here.
Weird size. See me? But I got his autograph. He's grown up. That's great. Thanks, sir.
Okay, we're going to continue with the agenda here. We have a couple items here, and then Dr. Stone is going to start off with some board information. And so at this time, I'd like to recognize our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Just, I think, Darrell, you mentioned this a little earlier. The 2-hour delay today was basically for safety reasons. We wanted to make sure after the storm passed through last night that all the roads were clear. It is very unusual. This is 2 times we've had to do hurricane-related delays. So that's hurricane and tornado, because there was a tropical storm that came through. So it's very interesting. But that's why we will always wanted to make sure that our buses could get through. There were no power lines down or those kinds of things. Plus, I believe I heard Joe say 96 homes were affected by the 2 tornadoes that touched down. You have in your packet, for those of you attending the law school law conference, that agenda I gave you a little bit earlier, so we'll look at that, and if you can pick any information you need from that, just let me know. We want to welcome the students from West Caldwell High School. It's always nice when we have students here, so you all have to stay to the bitter end, and I promise you it won't be too late, but we are glad you're here. We're glad that you're getting a little bit of information about how government works. I'm assuming your assignment is local government, and you had a chance to go to a governmental meeting where you're in one of the best of the county. A little bit of information. There are 7 members to this board. We are missing Dottie, one of our 7, and they are elected across the county. So your parents probably voted for all 7 of these, or 7 of these at some point. If not, you may want to talk to them about it. The board's agenda moves very quickly. We're glad you're here. If you have any questions, and at the end, by the way, we're going to, when we get to the end of the meeting, we're going to ask you to ask us some questions. So you have to have at least 5 since it's a large group. So you might want to be thinking about who's going to ask the question and what it is.
Not 5 per person.
No, just 5 from the whole group, so be planning on that. Mr. Chairman, moving on to the board action, I call your attention to Exhibit 2, which is Board Policy 4150, which is school assignments. We have had this out for a 30-day comment period. Basically, the change is adding the wording, school system employees working at least 25 hours per week who have some options with student transfers for their own children. The board, we have received no comments on it, so the recommendation from the administration is the approval of 4150.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Board Policy 4150 dealing with school assignments?
Chairman Pennell, I recommend that we approve Board Policy 4150, school assignments as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Does anyone have any comments or any questions at this time? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have a new policy, 3103, which is dual enrollment of private and homeschool students. Again, this has been out for a 30-day comment period. We've received no comments. Would like to move approval of 3103, dual enrollment of private and homeschool students.
Do I hear a motion that we approve School Board Policy 3103 as it relates to dual enrollment of private as well as homeschool students?
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion we approve policy number 3103.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any comments or questions?
Will they be allowed to participate in sports?
I believe the policy calls for that and the procedures. Yes, there's some stipulation, and we'll have to make sure it's cleared with the High School Athletic Association.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
And just for the benefit of the West students, this is something new. We're trying to reach out to homeschool and private school students, where if they come to school, they will have an opportunity, if they come half a day in high school or 2 courses a semester, and they're there for the whole year, they can enroll as a student at their home school or their private school as well as at West Caldwell, receive credit from West Caldwell High School as well as their home school. So we're hoping that will increase some enrollment in some of the classes at West, give you some new colleagues, new classmates to get to meet and get to know, and as well as provide unique services for some of our private school and homeschool students. If you know of anybody that's homeschool or private school, tell them they now have an opportunity to have dual enrollment with Caldwell County Schools. We'd love to have them back.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Stone. This time I'd like to recognize Associate Superintendent Dr. Trish Johnson, Human Resource Services.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have 3 items for your attention this evening, beginning with Exhibit 3. Exhibit 3 includes usual and customary personnel information items presented for your information only, requiring no board action. Exhibit 4 includes usual and customary personnel items requiring action. I respectfully recommend approval of these items as they have been presented to you.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the usual and customary personnel items as presented by Dr. Johnson?
Mr. Chair,
Chairman
I move that
Pennell.
we approve the usual and customary personnel items as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
And a second by Ann. Any comments? Any questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. And finally, Exhibit 5 includes student transfer requests since your last board meeting. Since the last board meeting, we had 26 requests for student transfers. Of the 26, 24 meet established board criteria. We respectfully recommend approval of the 24. If approved tonight, that brings the board-approved transfers for students for the year to a total of 565. I respectfully recommend approval of the student transfers as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2017-18 student transfers as presented?
Chairman Pennell, I recommend that we approve the 2017-2018 student transfers as presented by Dr. Johnson.
And is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Appreciate it.
May I ask a quick question? Dr. Johnson, will the information the board received tonight about class size be impacted at some point in time by these decisions on student transfers?
I would say that there's something that we would need to look at closely as the information we gather from the data manager today. It will require us looking closely at the impact that student transfers may have on space within schools for reassignments.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is related to auxiliary services, and usually Dr. Jeff Church is here for that. He is at the County Commissioners meeting. He has an important part to play in that tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. We are seeking your approval tonight to request from the grant, to apply for a grant from the state of North Carolina for $15 million, which requires a 3-1 match by the county. What we're requesting the grant for is for us to move forward with the Granite Falls Middle School project. The application is due this week. We'll be notified whether or not we receive that by November 1. This is a needs-based public school capital fund grant. It is $30 million allocated this year. There are two grants that will be, there'll probably be two grants allocated this year, each one for $15 million, and we would like to certainly get our name in there. It does require $15 million from the state. We would have to give up our lottery funding for 5 years. It also requires a $5 million match by the county. And the county, that's why Jeff is not here. He's trying to make sure the county is on to approves this. But they've done a lot of work on it, Jeff and the architects for the Granite Falls Middle School. If we were to get this grant, we'd be able to move very quickly in realizing one of our big capital projects. So administration would like to recommend approval of the grant application to the needs-based public school capital fund grant in the tune of $15 million.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the grant proposal?
I make the motion we approve the grant proposal for Granite Falls Middle School.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any comments or any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is concerning finance. I'll turn it over to Director of Finance, Mr. David Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have the resolution for the 2017-2018 budget that's required by the Local Government Commission. Each fund is required by state law to match expenses and revenue. First off, I'll start with Fund 1, State Public School Fund. The total revenues and expenditures for State Public School Fund, $73,488,653. Section 3 is the current expense fund, Fund 2, $20,635,247. Section 5 is Fund 8 for the Special Grant Fund, $671,680. Section 7 is for the Federal Grant Fund, $6,293,654. Section 9 is for the Capital Outlay Fund, $7,125,082. And Section 11 is for our enterprise funds, child nutrition and wraparound funding, $8,391,682. A lot of the information, the backup information, the more detailed information, hopefully we addressed well at the board planning session. And I would ask that this resolution be approved as submitted.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we approve the budget resolution as presented.
Second the motion.
And we have a second. Any comments or questions? And we appreciate your presentation at our work session as well.
Okay.
No questions, no comments. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Total
Johnson.
budget at $116,605,998.
Thank you. Dr. Stone, you have some
Just-
announcements?
Well, just to remind you that you'll need to have more conversations about the superintendent selection process, how you want to move forward with that. We did remove it from the agenda tonight because Dottie had requested to be here to be a part of that discussion. So we have to do this by the November board meeting. So we'll continue to have discussions. If there are firms, we'll put out the notice. If there are other firms that would like to apply for the ability to lead through the process, they can turn those in to us. We'll make sure our local firm knows, as well as the ones we traditionally deal with, Campbell Chatley, Tharrington Smith, and others.
And Dr. Stone, will that be prior to the November?
Yes, by the November 9th meeting, you will
So-
have everything, you'll have the options in front of you.
We'll know who? Okay,
Yes,
thank you
you
very
will.
much.
Turn it to West. So, we're at the end of the meeting, and you guys got out lucky, because last time the West was here, we didn't get out till like 7:15. So we have about 45 minutes for you to entertain us. Oh, you can't leave. No, I'm kidding. I do that. So, why don't you stand up and introduce yourself and tell us your grade, and then between all of you, you've got to have 5 questions. Start here. Stand up, introduce yourself, grade.
Thomas Williams, I'm a 12th grade.
All right, and if you are a 12th grader or 11th grader, tell us your plans after school.
Well, I'm hoping to maybe get a master's in biology, some in that field, maybe become a wildlife biologist at school.
Excellent.
Great.
Hey, I'm Avery Clark. I'm a senior in school. I'm going to go off to a college after high school, and I work on a degree in chemistry.
Oh, good. Great.
Great.
I'm Morgan Taylor. I'm in 12th grade at West, and I'm going to go to a four-year university and major in business administration. I'm Michaela Roberts, and I'm also a 12th grader, and I hope to go to NC State University and major in animal science, and then hopefully continue on to their vet school.
Second row.
Brianna Smith, 12th grader at West Caldwell High School. Plan to attend Western Carolina and go to intercultural studies.
Going to what?
Intercultural studies.
Any culture, okay.
I'm Jacob Fortner. I'm in 12th grade. I want to go to a four-year university and major in Spanish education.
We need Spanish teachers, Jacob. Third row.
I'm Travis Barnes, and I'm a 12th grader, and I really don't know what I'm going to do.
You got a couple more months.
I'm Taylor Brown. I'm a 12th grader at West Caldwell, and I plan to attend a four-year university, but I don't know what I want to major in. I'm Lacey Baker. I'm also a senior at West. I'm going to go to a four-year university, and I think I want to major in exercise science and be an athletic trainer.
I'm Celine Mahon. I'm also a senior at West, and I'm going to Western Carolina to be a forensics investigator.
I'm Emily Hicks. I'm also a 12th grader at West. I plan to go to college and major in pharmacy.
All right, you're kind of behind the pole, so you're going to have to stand out a little bit.
I'm Hannah Huffman. I'm a 12th grader as well. I plan on going to the National Guard Reserves and doing a medical field there, and then also going to college at NC State and majoring in animal science and being a veterinarian. I'm Kira Carney. I'm also a 12th grader. I plan to graduate early in January and attend community college for the spring semester.
All right.
Now,
Anybody else?
now, what's the name of y'all's class? What class is it? Civics in Action. Very good.
All right, you got 5 questions. Who's first? If not, I'm going to call you out.
We have some questions.
Oh, go, good.
Michaela.
Stand to the podium.
We would like to know what the $15 million project for, is it Granite Falls?
It's for Granite Falls Middle School to have a brand-new middle school and a renovation to part of the building. It will actually cost us about $17 million. Brand-new middle school.
Do you guys? Yeah.
It will be built on the site. We're going to
Same
tear down,
site.
and same site. Tear down the old, build the new.
Will that be happening like over the summer or?
It'll happen over about 2.5, 3 years.
It's gonna be built in phases. The new building would be built, the new part of the new building would be built so they could transfer students into that and then tear down and remodel as they go along.
Do you guys plan on doing this with any of the other schools? Because I know Gable Middle School needs it, and so does West Caldwell.
We just built the new William Lenore Middle
Yes.
School, and so the next project after Granite Falls is some additions to Lower Creek. But that doesn't mean that we're not making additions to the other schools as well. One of our big projects we want to do at Gamewell Middle is air conditioning in the gym.
That would be lovely.
I bet it would.
I need that.
I bet it would. And some renovations to the building. Very good. Next question. All right, come on, stand up and,
Oh, no, I was saying, I agree for the
oh, I thought, all right, you got 4 more questions. All right, come on.
We got one back here.
Yes, you do, because I can't see you.
Do you receive compensation as a board member? I don't know if that means, but that was a question.
We do. We receive a stipend, and we also receive a transportation allowance each month.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because the board members go to different meetings. You'll see them out at West, you'll see them all over the county. And so every month, they don't have just this one meeting. They are in the buildings during the day. They leave their work to go to meetings and to events and things. So yes, they do have a little small something to help pay for the gas, the phone bills, and those kinds of things for being on the service. But it's not, you couldn't live off it.
No.
Next, that's 2, 3 to go. Ah. You just want to get out of here.
Okay, so the dual enrollment of private and homeschooled students, would that be a requirement or would it be encouraged?
It would be encouraged because homeschoolers and private schools opt out of coming to the public school for whatever reason. But what we know is there's about 1,000 kids out there that are at homeschool or in private school. And we really do believe that we could offer something like music and arts and vocational CTE courses, some athletic courses, some things that it's a little harder for somebody who may be in a homeschool with just one kid to provide French. Like if I had to homeschool, you'd never get a foreign language. So we're hoping to encourage people to connect back to us in some way. Good question. Yes?
Is the 1,000 you said, is that for like the county?
That's throughout the county. We have about almost 12,000 students in the school system and about 1,000 who opt not to be in the school system, homeschool or private school. And that's alarming. That's a lot of folks who choose not to come to public schools. So we want to do something where we can help them and they can help us. All right, 2 more. Here we go.
How are you? I was just going to ask, is it the board that decides about the 2-hour delays? And if you do, how do you go about deciding about the hours of delays and if you have a straight off day?
Okay. That's going to lead to a good question about what does the Board of Education do and what does the superintendent do? The call for 2-hour delays or snow days or things like that are made by the administration. Mr. Church, Dr. Church is not here tonight, but you might know Jeff Church, Dr. Church. His responsibility on snow days or even tonight or last night was to ride around the county to find out where the trees were down, where the power was off, because we knew we had one school that absolutely had no power. South Caldwell was a shelter. And so that's his responsibility. He rides around with about 5 other people at night, and so they make that call, and then Libby, you want to do that voice?
That's the call.
She's in out front.
Good evening, this is a message from the call.
That's the voice you want to hear. But
We're all waiting for it.
but in the event of snow, the night before, or the afternoon before, we try to do it as early as possible. So you all can sleep in, your parents can make plans for younger siblings. So we try to do it as early as possible for you. Last night it was a little late because the power hit us kind of late. But that's made by the administration, by me and these folks over here. These folks, y'all want to tell them what y'all do?
We
The
hire the
board.
superintendent.
To make
We
those
fire the
decisions.
superintendent.
Yes. What else?
He's been with us for 12 years, so he is retiring at the end of the school year, June 30th. We appreciate the job, great job that he has done. But that's certainly one of our main responsibilities. Anybody else want to add something?
And we set the policies for the entire county also.
And they do the budget. So do you remember, anybody remember extra points, how much our budget is for the county school system? Who got that?
$116,905,998.
There you go.
Very good.
That's their job
A
to
plus.
determine how to spend it. All right.
Is there a limit as to how late you guys will call school off delayed?
Usually it's a 3-hour. It's when school's delayed, it's going to be a 2-hour or a 3-hour. If it's a 2-hour, that means we're pretty sure that we can get buses on the road. Remember, you probably drive to school, but a bus brings somebody to your school, and that bus probably starts 2 hours earlier than school starts, maybe even more. And so when we make that call, we have to make sure that that bus, the earliest bus that runs in this county, can get through whatever obstacles. If we feel a little unsure about it, then we'll do the 3-hour. But anything beyond that, we just call it a day, because there's not a lot you can get out of.
Is that what you meant, or how late at night?
How late the night?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Sometimes
she's
at
worried about
wintertime,
tomorrow.
it's like
Oh,
3 or
you do-
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't have to worry about tomorrow. We're on regular schedule.
Yeah,
But we try to make it before you leave school, to be honest. The day before, if we see snow moving in and we want to be cautious, we'll try to make it before you leave the building. So you can hear it on the announcement, so you don't have to worry about getting a text or a tweet or anything from us. But sometimes things move so quickly, but we really do try to make it before you go to bed, because we hate to wake your parents up at 5 o'clock in the morning with the notice that school's delayed. And we only do that when we absolutely have no choice but to do it. Our biggest thing is to make sure you get there safely, realizing that about half of our kids ride a bus. The other half, the parents bring them or they drive themselves. And we're more worried about those of you who drive yourself, because our buses are pretty sturdy and our bus drivers are trained. But we really do worry about our teenage drivers who may be trying to get to West in a bad situation. And you all in the western part of the county probably have some of the worst weather than the rest of the county, because you have Collegeville and those sections up in that area, that the weather there is not always the same as it is at South. So you're actually probably the area we look at the most when we make those calls. Is that 5 questions or is it 4?
That was 4.
Oh, it was. You were asking additional questions. Come on, one more.
I have another question.
Go right ahead.
What is the criteria for student transfers?
Trish, you want to hit that one?
Quite a bit.
Number one, they must be in good standing with the school, the current school that they're in, and that means attendance, grades, behavior. And number two, sometimes when students move, physically, their physical location, their homes, they change, they're allowed to transfer to stay within the school that they're currently attending, so they don't have to switch schools in the middle of the year. But the major criteria is that they are in good standing in the school that they're currently attending.
And extenuating circumstances.
Extenuating circumstances sometimes, like grandma has to pick them up or they
There are some schools that are closed to transfers unless it's even more specialized. I mean, like one that's full at capacity already, those are looked at a little different than schools that are under capacity.
Are there any within the county that are closed?
Closed to transfers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lower Creek and Davenport. Is it Lower Creek and Davenport?
Lower Creek is closed for transfers.
Davenport.
Davenport is closed except for kindergarten, their kindergarten year. Depends on, it varies from year to year, it depends on the number of students enrolled and how much space we have in the school to accommodate additional students.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Stone, may I say something
Go
to
ahead.
this young group of fine adults? I want to thank you all for coming from West. And did you hear what school the board is going to visit? What group of feeder schools the board is going to visit in the next month?
It's easy.
We'll be at West Caldwell.
We're going to be in the West District. And what I wanted to say to you is that we appreciate young students so very, very much. And you have got some very bright, articulate people. And do you see this board attorney sitting behind me?
He's a graduate of
Do
West.
you want to know where he graduated from? Can you guess?
Don't worry, tell them.
Okay. So we when you see us, just know the board cares about you and say hi to us when we're out there. We'll be out and about and in different parts of the school, and we'll be visiting the feeder schools that contribute to West Caldwell. So thank you so much for being here. I find them to be quite interesting, do you not? Thank you so much.
What period of the day do you have, Mr. Ramsey? Fourth period, the end of the day. Okay.
All right.
Maybe drop in one day, just pop in for a minute.
We'd like to
Some
do a
of
group
us.
picture at the end, so stick around so we can do a group picture over here so you can prove to Mr. Ramsey you were here.
Something else we're charged with is approving the calendar.
That's right.
Yes, approving the school calendar.
Okay, next item, board action, board information. There's no other board information other than what we've gone over. No other board action. Do I hear a motion? We adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to take a picture right over here if y'all will move over that way. Thank you.